We humans pride ourselves on our ability to think. We solve problems. We make decisions. We like to think we are rational beings. But what if I told you that our minds are riddled with invisible traps, biases that skew our thinking? That's the premise of Rolf Dobelli's The Art of Thinking Clearly. This book is a fascinating exploration of these mental shortcuts, these cognitive biases that often lead us astray. It's not a dense academic tome, it's a collection of bite-sized chapters, each revealing a different thinking trap. Think of it as a field guide to the quirks of your own mind. Why should we care about these biases? Because they affect our everyday decisions, often without us even realizing it. From the products we buy to the investments we make, these mental shortcuts can lead us down a path of irrationality. But there's good news. By simply being aware of these biases, we can start to recognize them in ourselves. And once we see them, we can start to mitigate their influence, leading to clearer, more rational decision-making. Imagine this. You're at a movie, it's awful. The acting is wooden, the plot is predictable, and you'd rather be anywhere else. But you paid for the ticket, and you're determined to get your money's worth. So you stay, enduring 2 hours of cinematic torture. Sound familiar? This, my friends, is the sunk cost fallacy in action. It's our tendency to cling to past investments, whether it's time, money, or emotional energy, even when it's no longer rational to do so. We've all been there. We stay in a dead-end job because we've already invested so many years. We pour more money into a failing business venture because we've come too far to quit. The sunk cost fallacy keeps us tethered to the past, preventing us from moving on to better opportunities. But here's the thing, the past is gone, it's sunk. The only thing that matters is the present and the future. By recognizing the sunk cost fallacy, we can free ourselves from its grip and make more rational choices based on what serves us best, not on what we've already lost. We live in a world of abundance. Countless brands of cereal line supermarket shelves. Streaming services offer an endless buffet of entertainment. We're bombarded with options, and it's supposed to be a good thing, right? More choices, more freedom, more happiness. Not so fast. As Barry Schwartz argues in his book The Paradox of Choice, too many options can actually lead to paralysis and dissatisfaction. We agonize over decisions, second-guessing ourselves, wondering if we made the right choice. This overload of choices can lead to decision fatigue, where we simply give up and choose the easiest option, not necessarily the best one. Think about it. Have you ever spent more time choosing a movie on Netflix than actually watching one? The takeaway here is that more isn't always better. By simplifying our choices, setting boundaries, and focusing on what truly matters, we can overcome the paradox of choice and make decisions that lead to greater satisfaction. Section 4. The illusion of control and other thinking traps. The world of cognitive biases is vast and fascinating. The art of thinking clearly delves into a multitude of these mental shortcuts, each more intriguing than the last. Take the illusion of control, for instance. This bias tricks us into believing we have more control over events than we actually do. We see patterns where none exist, attributing outcomes to skill when they may be due to pure chance. Then there's the availability bias, which skews our judgment based on the information that's most readily available to us. If we hear about something frequently, we tend to overestimate its likelihood, even if it's statistically rare. The anchoring bias, on the other hand, shows how we latch on to the first piece of information we receive, even if it's irrelevant. This can influence our negotiations, our purchases, and even our perception of others. These are just a few examples of the many thinking traps that Dobelli exposes. By understanding these biases, we can become more aware of their influence on our thoughts and actions. Section 5. Thinking Clearly, a roadmap for better decisions. The art of thinking. Clearly is not just a litany of our mental flaws, it's a call to action, a roadmap for making better decisions. By recognizing our inherent biases, we can start to mitigate their impact. We can learn to question our assumptions, to seek out diverse perspectives, and to be more critical of information that confirms our existing beliefs. The book encourages us to embrace a more rational approach to decision-making, one that's grounded in evidence, logic, and a healthy dose of self-awareness. It's a reminder that our minds, while capable of great things, are also susceptible to errors. But by acknowledging these errors, we can start to think more clearly, make better choices, and ultimately, live more fulfilling lives. So go forth, dear reader, and embrace the art of thinking clearly.